Hello. Thanks for being a chaperone for NCYC 2019. My name is Kevin Fine. I'm Director of Adolescent Faith Formation for the Archdiocese, in charge of NCYC and the largest delegation that'll be traveling to Indianapolis this year for NCYC. So thanks for being a part of it. What I want to do this today, right now, is go a real quick overview of what's expected of you as a chaperone. This is a repeat of what was done at the chaperone trainings throughout the Archdiocese this fall. So if you have attended one of those, this might be a good reference for you as far as what you might have missed. If you have not been there, pay attention. I try to go quick just to be respectful of your time. If you have any questions about what's asked of you, please talk to your group leader, the one who's in charge of organizing your group. They have more responsibility and ownership over what happens at your parish and your school than I do. So this is just a little bit about NCYC, so please enjoy, bear with me, and again, thanks for everything you do to make this experience available for our young people. So here's what I plan to do. I just want to give you an overview of NCYC first, and then I'm going to walk through the schedule of what's expected of you during our weekend together. So NCYC is kind of a big deal. It's the largest gathering of young people. It's probably the largest Catholic gathering in the country. So there's going to be dozens of bishops, about 20 bishops expected every time we have NCYC, hundreds of priests. In fact, it's one of the coolest things at the closing mass is to see a procession of priests entering in for our closing liturgy. Thousands of chaperones just like yourself from all over the country, so it's a good chance for you to meet other adults who are Catholic like you. Also, there are adult tracks and breakout sessions as well for parents and for people like you, but there's tens of thousands of teens as well, and so we get excited about that. And like I said, we are the largest delegation. So in our delegation, we have about 1,680 people signed up right now. About 470 of those are adults. The remainders are teens. And so we get excited about that, but also remember that each young person going is important. It's not so much that we brag about the numbers, but it's a big deal for us to have that many numbers. So let's treat each kid perfectly well. All right, so here's what's going to happen at NCYC. There's going to be general sessions that are kind of the bookends to each day. Friday and Saturday start and end with a general session, 25,000 people about gathering in Lucas Oil Stadium. Thursday night is only a general session, so that's what we'll get there to right away on Thursday. In between those general sessions on each day is breakout sessions available. There's 3 rotations of breakout sessions on Friday and 2 options on Saturday. At the same time, there's an interactive village, which is a place where young people can go and have hands-on experiences, meet with vendors, explore different colleges or religious orders. There will be an archdiocesan booth there as well to help them re-affiliate with the archdiocese. There's going to be time during in between for your group to get together, maybe and ask questions and talk together, pray together, maybe go get some meals. And then after those general sessions, in between the general sessions at night, you're basically back at the hotel sleeping. That's kind of the whole plan. So as a quick run through, buses depart Thursday morning and arrive in Indianapolis at your hotel that you'll be staying at about 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. So we do lose an hour in travel moving east on Thursday. So buses leave Thursday morning quite early. I think our earliest bus leaves before 3 a.m. and our sluggish bus leaves at about like 7:30, our late sleepers. But either way, the full day on Thursday is basically a lot of just drive time. So that's going to get you to Indianapolis by about 3 o'clock at your hotel. You'll be checking into one of these 5 hotels. The Archdiocese is using 33 buses to get to these 5 hotels. And your group leaders will know which one of these you are staying at. You'll get to your hotel at about 3:15-ish. You'll be greeted by hotel coordinators who will help distribute room keys so you can get checked into your room. After that, you'll be invited to come back downstairs. Usually some hotels will have a gathering for young people. Others will just give them more time in their room to decompress. Supper will be that night. Jimmy John sandwiches delivered to each property. For those hotels that allow outside food to be brought in, namely the Crown, the Wyndham, and the Hyatt, the food will be brought in and you'll be picking them up in the meeting spaces down in the lobby. For the Crown and the Wyndham, they'll be delivered to your buses and you'll be grabbing them as you get on the bus to head downtown for the general session. So this is one of the cool feats of NCYC. Jimmy John's will be delivering about 1,700 meals at night to our 5 locations, and they'll do it in about 30 minutes. It's a pretty cool feat what you get to see. That night, you can start your first general session experience. It'll start with a concert from for King and Country. Will be the headliner act on Thursday night. And here's the rest of the speakers available at the rest of the general sessions. These are the keynotes, if you will. Saturday night's closing mass. The full schedule of all of the general sessions, in addition to the breakout speakers and their topics and what's available, all of that can be found right now at ncyc.info. And if you just navigate till you find the schedule, you'll be able to see all of the different opportunities that are available as well. So all of the general sessions happen at Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts play football. There's a picture of it right here. Please note, for those of you who are returning to NCYC, there's stricter security in place this year. They will actually be doing bag searches at each time you enter into the general sessions, metal detectors for stadium entry. So please be aware of these following things are prohibited and may be confiscated: and destroyed weapons, alcohol, laser pens, pepper spray, and mace, any other item deemed unacceptable by event or building management. So we don't know what that list is. We're assuming that means young people will still be able to bring in water bottles. We still think they'll be able to bring in snacks, like individually wrapped items, or should be fine going in. So please encourage your young people to bring water and like little trail mix or granola bars or things to keep them, get some calories going during the day. So if they get tired or hungry while they're waiting for food, they still have something to eat in their backpacks. But generally speaking, please be mindful that this will take more time. So please build that into your day and to your patients as you're getting into the facility. Throughout the day, you're going to be assisted in the background by what we call our A team. We don't know what the A stands for. It's advanced. We get there earlier. It's the administrative team. We do a lot of behind the scenes. It's the archdiocesan team. Either way, it's the A team. Just go with it. So the A team will get there on Tuesday and Wednesday before you even leave to get our credentials stuffed and get everything situated for your hotels. So we'll be working behind the scenes in Indy before you even leave. We'll be doing social media and communication. This is to you as well as to your young people. So there will be text communications and email communications to you. So please let your group leader know your preferred method of communication. It should have been already answered for you on the individual registration form you filled out at the beginning of the year. But we will be sending out emails 2 to 3 times a day with references to information you need to make you more effective as a chaperone on this trip. We'll also be doing social media with the young people via Instagram and Twitter, and people can follow us back home on Facebook as well. We have hotel hospitality, which means if there's something going on at your hotel, your group leader will know who to talk to directly about that. So if you hear anything about room changes that need to happen where kids are switching rooms, please make sure you communicate that to your hotel coordinator so they can communicate to the hotel. We need to know who's in which room all the time. It's just a way to keep track just in case there's an emergency. The A-team also provides hospitality. So if you're down to the conference and somebody's starting to get sick or feels ill or just needs to rest, the A-team can pick you up at the convention center and drive you, this young person and a chaperone, back to the hotel so they can get some rest. They'll also be able to meet with a medical consultant. We have 4 nurses who are going to be a part of our team this year, and they'll help you as those chaperones know, should you call the emergency room or go to the emergency room, should you call home, does this kid just need to lay down for a little bit? So they'll help make that advice as well. But our luxury, what we really do that makes everybody most helpful, hold on, how do I do this? Boom. Is we provide hall walking at night from 11 o'clock p.m. until about at least 3 in the morning. Our A team is going to be walking halls. The purpose of this is so that you as a chaperone can actually go to your room and go to sleep. So you'll be doing a room check each night at about midnight, if not before, and then you're off the hook. You don't have any responsibilities at night, and so we want you to get a full 6 hours. I know it's not a lot, but it's a full 6 hours of sleep should be really doable. We also make it convenient so that all of the adults go and get their own bed, or if you have to share a bed, it'll be one of 2 situations. It'll be either a king bed, or it'll be with your spouse. If you're going with your spouse, you have the unfortunate burden of having to share a bed with that person. 27 people on our team this year, so this is kind of a cool thing. If you see the A-team walking around, they will be wearing designated polos that have archdiocesan logos on it, so you can identify us from our uniform. But if you see a member of the A-team, please be sure and stop them and thank them. They're all except one of them are volunteers. One of them is being paid to go and coordinate that. So that would be awesome if you can just let them know. That's awesome, cool stuff. All right, so here's the meal plan. Every morning at every hotel, there's going to be a grab-and-go breakfast option. One of our hotels might be having a hot breakfast, but you'll have to wait to see if that's your hotel or not. Anyway, the other hotels will have a grab-and-go brown bag, put in a muffin, put in a piece of fruit, a granola bar, and a juice, and be on your way. The nice thing about this is you can eat it on the bus. You can eat it at the hotel before you leave, and what you don't eat, you can keep in your backpack and have available for a snack later that day. Lunch and supper, except for Thursday night, are always on your own. So talk to your group leader about what your plans are. If you are supposed to coordinate a meal with your group or with the teens assigned to you, or if your group leader has made reservations at a certain place, all those meals are kind of on your own. We'll talk a little bit more about what's available for that coming up. All right, so when you get back to the hotel after the general sessions each night, we do encourage you to, and your young people to go to the ballrooms at each hotel or the meeting rooms, depending on your space. We do this because we want to avoid any socialization happening in the bedrooms. There are normal people staying at the hotel as well, and we want to let them get their sleep. In fact, every time we're at the hotel, quiet hours are in effect. So we want to keep any noise and excitement young people have with them, noise and excitement. We want to keep that contained into the meeting space that's allowable for that. So kids can go there when they get back to the hotel and kind of goof around and mess around. You can do some small group faith sharing in those spaces as well. In addition to that, we will be having pizza available. We've learned that kids get hungry this time of night, and we preempt that by ordering pizza slices. Most of your group leaders have already done this, and so you've ordered slices of pizza for your kids. You will be getting tickets each day for a ticket per slice of pizza based on how many you've ordered. All you got to do is hand those out to the kids and yourselves. You drop a ticket or two in the bucket and you grab a slice or two, and then you move on your way. There will be water available at each property as well. Some snacks will be available at some of the other smaller properties. All you got to do is have your group contact, talk to the hotel coordinator if any special dietary issues or things that you might want in addition to the pizza that's being available. Talk to your hotel coordinator. And then we'd like to see closing each day close with night prayer at 11:45. This is a way to transition from goofy blow-off steam time to a bit more prayerful sleepy time. We do expect lights out at midnight every night so the young people can have the fullest experience of NCYC during the day. So here is a map of Indianapolis. You see that Lucas Oil Stadium here is at the bottom of the map. The buses drop off at the south lot of Lucas Oil. So what's great about being in the largest delegation going to NCYC is we get to have our buses park there. Other buses merely have to drop off and then go somewhere else. But our buses will stop and park in the south lot of Lucas Oil. So that means where your bus drops you off in the morning is where it will be that night. So you don't have to go around looking for your bus. It's right there. So the buses park in the south lot of Lucas Oil Stadium, and then you're going to enter Lucas Oil, probably from the south gates. Almost always from the south gates for our delegation. It's going to make sense when you're talking about the security thing. There's going to be long lines on this northern section. So if you can avoid those long lines by coming around and coming in the south, it's going to make your world a lot easier. After that, everything moves to the Indiana Convention Center. There's a walkway here on Capitol Avenue where there will be a sidewalk that's barricaded off. That's where almost everybody's going to go to get into the convention center, where all the breakouts and thematic park and interactive village is all in the convention center. There are dining options available in the convention center. Lots of different type convention style food like soft pretzels with cheese, and there's some other sub type meals and maybe other pizza available because gosh, you can have more pizza. Yay. Also, as far as eating option goes, there's a food court in the mall. It's the East Circle Center Mall. It's a couple blocks east of the convention center. It's all connected by these blue skyways that connect everything at the second level. So you can actually walk from one space to the next without having to go outside. That's convenient. The downside about going to the Circle Center Mall is it's a mall, but the advantage is there's going to be seating and quick food available at a lower price than what you're going to get to the convention center. Also downtown, there's restaurants available, sit-down restaurants. These are typically more expensive, and they might have a long wait depending on which time you're trying to eat. There might also be food courts right outside to the east of the convention center, about this space right about here where this green line is. Those food trucks might show up, they might not, depending on weather. It's not a bad idea. There'll be competitive pricing. The downside with the food truck is what you buy outside, you need to eat outside. So you can't go outside, buy food, and then plan to bring it into the warmth of the convention center and eat it inside. The convention center does not allow outside food to be brought in and consumed. So if you have snacks with you, that's fine, but please don't go to the food trucks and bring your whole group and then all you bring your food inside. That's going to cause security to shut down and do stricter bag searches for food as well. So please try to avoid doing that. We do designate the military park as the emergency meeting point for our delegation. So if something happens where we have to evacuate Lucas Oil or the Indiana Convention Center, we ask you to go a few blocks north and look for a big grass field. And that's where we'll try to have our A-team there trying to meet with your group leaders and get everybody head count and find out what we're going to do as far as getting away from there or making sure we're in communication with who we need to be in communication with. So that's our emergency designated point. Then at the end of the day, we just repeat the process, go backwards. So you walk down that barricaded sidewalk in Capitol Avenue back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Again, it might be smart to come down and use the south gates to get into the stadium. And then at the end of the general session, we're going to get back to our bus and head back to the hotel. Rinse and repeat. This is the same plan on Friday and Saturday. During the day, there's a lot of things to keep in mind and consider that you might want to be taking advantage of. I do encourage you as much as possible to plan time to do nothing. This is a high-paced, high-energy, high-stimulus experience, and young people can get exhausted real quick. There's so much stimulus they can get overwhelmed by. So please plan time to just kind of sit and chill. There's rounds of workshop, like I said, 3 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Here's their times. The Interactive Village is available from 11 o'clock to 5:30. Don't forget to stop by the Archdiocesan booth. We're in booth 801 to 805. It's like a 30-foot section. It's kind of right when you go in the main entrance and you take a couple rights and we'll be right there. Be worth stopping in to say hi to us. If you're an adult, want to check in and have some questions or want to communicate with other people that you haven't connected with, it might make a great meeting spot for your group if you want to break during the Interactive Village. And then come back to the rally point. You're welcome to use our booth as your meeting spot. We'll ask each young person to stop in and we'll be doing social media stuff there as well. Also, lots of different opportunities for prayer experiences or spiritual encounters. So reconciliation, adoration, and various masses offered throughout the day. There's Friday Mass at 12:10 if he's open to it, Archbishop Jacobs. If he is able to attend NCYC, we're going to see if we can get him to be the celebrant for that Mass. That'll happen across the street at St. John's Church. And all of this will be in your booklet you get and on the NCYC app that you can access all of these details. So there's tons of things to do, and you might want to also eat. So this is important to put this all up because you can see that it's not possible to do everything NCYC offers. So one of the things we're going to ask you to do is to help your young people plan what they do. So if each day you wake up and don't have a plan, you don't know what you're going to do until you get there, the odds are you're going to miss out on some great things. So you might want to start with looking at the breakout sessions and say, what are 2 or 3 breakout sessions you really want to make sure you go see because this is pertinent and exciting for you as a young person to go explore. And then from there, maybe plan what time are you going to go spend some time in the Interactive Village. What time are you going to go walk around and meet artists and maybe do a service project or maybe listen to a musician. Or maybe talk to some colleges about where you might want to go to school, or talk to some of the religious communities who are there about what life's like for them and what gets them excited, or maybe do some prayer time, or maybe go to take advantage of the sacrament of reconciliation, or maybe go spend some time in prayer and adoration, maybe get one of the daily masses. So help your young people plan out their day. It's really important to maximize the experience of NCYC, and you can't do that by just shooting from the hip. You're going to have a kind of a plan, and each young person is going to be different. So help plan how they do that. Your group leader will give you some direction about how it's going to work. Like, are you all staying together as a large group, or are you responsible for like 6 teams directly, or are you just all functioning kind of as a kind of a group with a buddy system in place? It's up to you how you plan your day, but here's a few things to keep in mind. This is a young group of young people. Trading items at NCYC is kind of a big deal, so each young person will probably be given a number of things that they can trade. It's a great way to meet kids from across the country. So kids will walk up to you and say, hey, do you have anything to trade? And they'll start trading items. It's kind of one of the cool things about NCYC. Each young person should be wearing a lanyard. This is very important information in it. We'll talk about the medical forms in a little bit, but inside their lanyards, first of all, it's going to have a name badge that says what diocese they're from. It's going to say their first and last name, and it's going to say if they're a youth or a chaperone, because sometimes you can't tell the difference just looking at somebody if they're actually an adult or not. So that's what's easily identifiable to everybody on their lanyard. Inside their lanyard will be a contact card that you can pull out if you need to call the A-team for transportation reasons, or if you have a question, or if you don't remember what hotel you're in or what room you're in, or if you have any questions, pull out that contact card. It's going to have all the information you need to make contact with the A-team. There's also a great space on there for you to write down chaperone number, chaperone name, chaperone phone number, etc., so they can get a hold of you if they get lost or separated as well. Also in their lanyard will be their archdiocese and liability form, which has medical emergency contact information on it. So it's all going to be on them all the time. Yeah, we stuff those all on Tuesday and Wednesday before you even get there. We are giving out an Archdiocese t-shirt this year. It's a brick red color. We'll be wearing those all together on Saturday, which is kind of a cool thing. And we will be sitting together for the closing Mass. Our diocese, all 1,700 of us will be sitting together for the closing Mass on Saturday night again. And so we can all be seen visibly wearing our Archdiocesan shirts as a group. That's a pretty cool optic from last year when we were all wearing our green shirts in 2017. We do recommend a backpack. This is a good thing. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but I'd highly recommend everybody carries a water bottle and some munchies like trail mix or granola bar or fruit, something to keep them going throughout the day when they get hungry, because food will be at a premium. There's a lot of places to eat, but it just depends on how much money you want to spend. Also, I recommend bringing a Bible. A New Testament, a little pocket New Testament would be perfect. Also a journal or some way to take notes or write down what their experiences are. Some kids just do that this way on their phone. So if they take notes that way, that's cool. But also recommended that they have access to, like I said, a Bible or something to write things down if they want to take notes. Also, it's not a bad place to put winter gear. If it's cold in Indianapolis, they might bring a coat to the conference that day, but they don't want to wear it all day, so it's not a bad idea to shove it in their backpack. But whatever they bring, they have to haul. So they might want to pack light as well. Also, these kids tend to be pretty happy. We've seen just a lot of joy-filled, positive peer pressure going on at NCYC, where kids are encouraging each other to be the best versions of themselves. It's pretty cool. So we're excited about that. And this is, of course, an approved side hug. So if you look at the Youth Code of Conduct, which your group leader should have exposed you to by now, if they haven't asked for it, it's just a list of what's appropriate and what's inappropriate physical contact. The first appropriate physical contact is a side hug. It's a non-invasive way of showing affection like these kids are doing. And there's background. There's somebody who's paying attention. All right, one way you can help as a chaperone is kind of an add-on to the day, is our diocese has been asked to help with counting the collection from the closing Mass on Saturday night. Like I said, we're all going to be wearing our same shirts, like see these lovely people here are wearing our greens from 2017. This will be red this in 2019, but we are asked to help. So what'll happen is we need 15 adults. So if you don't have responsibilities on Saturday night, like you're not a small group leader leading a faith sharing group back at your hotel, and you don't mind staying up a little bit later Saturday night, we probably won't get back to the hotel till about midnight or 1 o'clock. But we do need 15 adults. If you're willing to help count money, you're good with numbers, tell your group leader you're willing to help, and if they can email me your name, that would be great. We need about 9 more people to fill out our diocesan group as of October 29th. So if you are interested in this, please let your group leader know, have them let me know, and we'll help you do this. Last year, we counted roughly $80,000 that was collected that goes exclusively to scholarships for the next NCYC. So pretty cool. And like I said, it's kind of a fun time. We duck out usually right before the homily. They bring communion back to us. We are able to watch Mass on the TVs in the space. You can see it on in the background there behind us. So anyway, that's our money counting. It's our contribution to the national organization. Because we have so many adults, it's one way that we can kick it in and just help out the rest of the crew. So basically, here's what's asked of you as a chaperone. There's one real rule, and that no one dies or gets conceived. It's our job to keep kids safe and to help them make good decisions. We talk about this poorly formed prefrontal cortex in adolescence, the part of the brain that does risk mitigation. It helps them to decide if this is a good idea or not a good idea. So they have a bad angel on the one shoulder. My hand's not being seen because of the graphics. And they have a good angel. Right? Well, in teenagers, the good angel is just smaller. It gets bigger as we get older. So our job is just to reinforce that good angel and help them make good decisions. So we're going to keep them safe, and we're going to help them make responsible decisions. The other thing we want to do is model Christian discipleship. We know that you can't be what you can't imagine. So a young person cannot possibly be an adult Christian disciple unless they see people who are already modeling that for them. So one of the greatest things you can do for young people is show them that you can be an adult who lives their faith with passion and joy. So if you don't mind just investing some more time in prayer and just growing yourself in faith in these next few weeks before NCYC, because they need to see what it looks like to be faith-filled adults, because they can imagine themselves doing that later. Um, Also, the adult code of conduct, again, it goes with the youth code of conduct. It's a list of what's expected of you. Please talk to your group leader about getting a copy of the adult code of conduct so you can look through and see what that is. Third thing is maximize the good of NCYC. We encourage you to do that. You do that by helping young people plan their event, helping them know what's the best thing for them to do, walking with them, asking questions about their day, helping them process their experiences, just being an accompanier, somebody who's walking with these young people through the NCYC experience. Really, just be yourself and be open with them and vulnerable with them, and they will see you for who you are authentically, and they will want more good for their lives because of your witness and your ability to be present to them. So help them plan NCYC accordingly. And then finally, maintain accountability. Help your group leaders to know where your young people are. Help them, just know where they are and what they're doing, so they're not just sitting around in a restaurant all day, just relaxing and eating food, as teenagers are wont to do. All right, so more specifically, we talked about accountability. I talked about room checks, but here's basically what we're looking for. Each night, every hotel room of minors needs to be checked by 2 adults. The room checks need to be gender specific. By that, I mean the boys should be checked by 2 adult men, the girls should be checked by 2 adult women. If there's only 1 adult man in your group, look around or look on your bus and see if you can recruit another man to help you with those room checks. We want to check on 2 basic things. You're checking to make sure that everyone who's supposed to be in that room is there. Your group leader will be given a list of who's in which room and which room numbers, so this will be passed on to you. And you want to make sure that no one else is. So basically, you're shutting down any parties that are happening, any socialization. We don't want that more than the people who are in the room to be in the room anyway. But just kind of doing a quick check to make sure. Of course, these are all gender-specific rooms, so there should never be a time where girls are in boys' rooms or boys are in girls' rooms. We want to communicate that as much as possible up front as well. But anyway, that's what you're doing, making sure that everybody's just back in the room where they're supposed to be, and that people are kind of settling down and gearing up for the night. Remain positive. I mean, you're not doing any kind of extensive searches. You're just kind of being present, making sure that just the right people are in that space. Remember safe environment protocols. So when doing the room check, I recommend that one of the adults stays in the doorway with the door open, so they're visible from the hallway, but they're also able to keep an eye on their buddy who's in the room doing the room check. That's just a cool thing. Also, when in hotel rooms, whether it's an appropriate place, other like a shoulder or head, just don't even make any physical contact with the minors, and don't sit on the beds. Don't go into the bathroom with somebody in the bathroom. Just those kind of things that might be deemed creepy. Just kind of stay away from those kind of situations. All right, I want you to enforce the youth code of conduct, not just to Archdiocese of Dubuque kids, not just to kids from your parish or school, but to any young person who's there wearing one of those lanyards. Hold them to the youth code of conduct. Every person at NCYC has signed a youth waiver saying that they are going to comply with the youth code of conduct. So it's our responsibility to enforce that behavior for all kids, whether they're ours or not. And other adults will be watching out for our kids too. So we're all in this together. Help them plan how they spend their time. We've talked about that. And then take care of yourself. Get your sleep. Check out at midnight after those room checks and go get a good 5.5, 6 hours, 6.5 hours, so that you can function the next day. A sleepy chaperone is a cranky chaperone, and it's hard to be a joy-filled disciple of Jesus when you're cranky. All right, here's the discipline plan, very simple. Usually redirecting negative behavior and recommending instead a positive alternative. Yeah, that's gonna work 98% of the time. Anytime we see young people doing something that's questionable, usually just redirecting it fixes it. Like I said, these are good kids who make good decisions. They just need some redirection every once in a while. If that doesn't work, we might have to have a conversation with their group leader. Oh yeah, send them to the boss. So we, at this point, if for example, if our A team, when they're doing hall walks at night, if they have to knock on our room 3 times because of noise, that might warrant an email to the group leader that says, hey, I want to talk to these kids about their noise at night. They've been a bit distracting, and it's just not going to happen again, or we're going to have to call home. And that's coming up. So if kids are not behaving by the redirection of you as an adult chaperone or by their group leader, we're going to call home and have the parents do a redirect. That's usually enough. In situations where young people are in possession of illicit drugs or inappropriate images that might be on their phone of minors, we would call law enforcement in sticky situations like that, so law enforcement can deal with the improper material. We don't want to ever find you as an adult chaperone in possession of an illicit product. We don't want you risking your legal standing on behalf of these young people. So if there's something there that you can't own and they can't own, we're going to encourage you to call law enforcement, have them come take it. It's just easier in the long run. Worst case scenario, you got to let me know, and once I know, it's pretty close to a situation where somebody might be sent home at their own expense. Since I've been doing NCYC since 2005, I've never had to do this. Usually, like I said, our young people who are going for great reasons. They're excited about being there, and they don't want to embarrass themselves or their families or their friends. They're going to make good decisions. We just don't have to do this, but we reserve the right that if people are making bad enough choices, we will disaffiliate from them at the experience that our kids who are there can have a better experience. So a couple things about health issues real quick. We do ask for prescription medications. Anybody who's got prescription medications, that they have the original product in a bag with a prescription medication log. They're not allowed to hold prescription medications on them. Those are held by an adult, typically the group leader. And then they're simply made available during the day when young people need to take their meds. The young people will dispense the meds themselves, self-dispense, and then write on the log when they took what, just as a reference point, put it back in the bag, hand it back to the adult in charge. Pretty simple. Non-prescription medications are fine, but at first, before you give anybody a non-prescription over-the-counter medication, you need to personally look at their Archdiocese medical liability waiver. Now, this is in their lanyard. It'll be stuffed in there when they get their credential, and they need to keep it in there. There's a paragraph that says here, this is the language: I grant permission for non-prescription medications. This is signed by the parent or guardian. If the parent or guardian has said no to this entry, that means that you cannot give anybody that says no non-prescription or over-the-counter meds. No matter how much the kid whines or begs or says it's normal, you just can't do it. If the parent says yes, it's okay, then by all means you are permitted to share what you have with that young person. But do me a favor, and in the column of that form, note like the dose and the time and the product that was given. So Tylenol 200 milligrams, 1 o'clock on Thursday, just so that the next time they go and ask somebody, there's a record, kind of an informal record of what was given to them. So our medical team as well will be tracking what they do as far as providing over-the-counter medication to young people. But this is just our process for that. Again, it's in their credentials. If somebody's sick enough, they're just not feeling well, they're lightheaded, they're dizzy, they're nauseous, they might want to go back to the hotel and rest. Typically speaking, it's because they've been overstimulated or the pace has been too quick. But we do provide transportation to the hotel. Again, if a kid gets sick, they need to talk to a chaperone. The chaperone can call or text the A-team. The A-team will set a meeting spot and a time to meet where they will show up in a car. Again, the A-team will be wearing polos with the Archdiocese logo on it. The car might have a magnet that says Archdiocese Dubuque on the front passenger door that indicates that this is actually a legitimate group. They need the young person and a chaperone. The young person cannot go back to the hotel by themselves, so there needs to be a chaperone with them. They'll drive them back to the hotel. If somebody's feeling better, they will drive them back to the conference. Again, we do have nurses to help you as chaperones make decisions about what's appropriate for your young people and what they need. Prevention is key. So as much as you can help set that pace for young people, the better they'll be. So for example, help them plan so they're going nice and slow, help them drink lots of fluids, help them eat healthy meals, and encourage them to get their sleep at night. If you can do those 4 things, plan their day, drink water, eat good meals, and sleep at night, we're going to take care of 95% of our illnesses that happen at NCYC. So prevention is key. Then our day ends on Sunday morning. Sunday morning is a very quick morning. Basically, you're going to get up. We do ask that each room is checked by an adult. Basically, you're looking for damage, belongings. So once the kids get their stuff out of the room into the hallway, they should be waiting there for an adult to come by and check their rooms. Once the room is checked for damage, they give you their keys and you hold on to them. And then you go down to the group leader lounge or group leader office, wherever that is, and there'll be somebody there with a list of room numbers and a bucket. You put the keys in the bucket and you tell them what rooms they're for. They check off the rooms on their list. Once all the rooms have been checked, we know everybody's good. Then you get on your bus and you head home on your way. So usually buses are leaving between like 7:30 and 8 o'clock on Sunday morning. Again, grab and go breakfast, get on the bus, and head on your way back home. You'll be returning back to your site somewhere between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, depending on travel time and distance from Indianapolis. So at this point, if you have any questions, by all means, let your group leader know. We're happy to help. Most of this has been pretty much spelled out for them already as well. But I just want to end by saying thank you again for giving your time to help the young people of the diocese to have this profound experience of Jesus and his church. And on behalf of Archbishop Jacobs and all of us here at the Archdiocese, we're just thankful for everything you do to make everything happen in our church. Thanks for what you do to bring young people closer to Jesus and his church. All right. Thank you very much.